Air traffic control. What does that mean exactly? What does an air traffic controller actually do? He or she is the invisible figure who guides, supervises and coordinates the air traffic, keeping a constant watch and ensuring that things run smoothly on the ground and in the air, every day, whatever the weather. For the air traffic controllers at Skyguide, the safety of air traffic is paramount. Let's take a practical look. The pilot and his crew get the aircraft ready for takeoff.
6 information Juliet, Airbus 330, negative 28, we are ready for start.
The cooperation between pilot and air traffic controller begins.
Runway 16, Dinar 3 uniform.
Let's start with an exploratory look around the tower in Zurich. This is where the air traffic controllers with responsibility for traffic around the airport work. Radar, computer, and the microphone are their prime tools. The ground controller monitors the airport site. She guides and coordinates aircraft and vehicle movements on taxiways and runways.
Swiss Air 252 is ready for departure.
Swiss Air 252.
The aerodrome controller beside her is her direct partner.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 16.
She authorizes landings and takeoffs and integrates visual traffic of small aircraft and helicopters into the other air traffic within 20 kilometers around the airport. The extended area of some 50 kilometers around the airport is handled by arrival and departure controllers. In this part of the control zone and the terminal control area, they control arrivals and departures. And if necessary, order them to wait. The departure controller controls flights with radar and microphone and takeoff to the airways. He takes account of incoming flights, which might cross the path of flights taking off. Once an aircraft has reached the airway, he hands it over to his colleagues in the area control center. The approach controller to his right manages aircraft landings. From the area control center, she takes over the incoming aircraft arriving from all directions into her control area. On the radar screen, she checks compliance with her instructions, such as speed, heading, and height above ground. She gives the pilot the necessary corrections, ensures the minimum separations, and lines the aircraft up for transfer to the aerodrome controller. The air traffic controllers in the area control center are making sure that traffic in the airways and the terminal control area flows safely and smoothly. The size of the airspace means that it has to be split into different sectors: the lower and upper sectors. Swiss airspace is among the most complex on the continent. It has the busiest crossroads in the European airways system. Countless intercontinental airports in the immediate vicinity of Switzerland also mean extensive interplay between climbing and descending flights and overflights. The maintenance of the minimum separations between aircraft takes top priority. Passenger aircraft flying at 800 to 900 kilometers per hour need an exactly fixed area of free space around them, horizontally in all directions at least 5 nautical miles, some 9 kilometers, and vertically above and below at least 1,000 feet, or about 300 meters. These distances also have to be maintained between military and civil aircraft. To sum up, as an air traffic controller, ensuring that minimum separations are kept is your main task. At the same time, you are planning, monitoring and issuing instructions in all circumstances and whatever the weather. In the Area Control Center, you work in teams made up of a planning controller, an executive controller and a controller assistant. This trio handles one sector each. The tasks are clearly assigned. The control of flights through several sectors is precisely coordinated. The executive controller channels aircraft into the flows of traffic and accompanies them on their way. The planning controller coordinates the traffic in her sector and supports her colleague in handling the traffic. She is in constant contact with other control centers. How is an aircraft actually displayed on the radar screen? Here you can see the display of Flight Delta 143. This bundle of signs, letters and numbers, called a label, tells the air traffic controller the call sign, the position, the flight level and the progress of this flight on the radar screen. The ground speed can also be selected. These data change constantly. They come from far-reaching radar antennae. The practiced air traffic controller simultaneously controls many aircraft in different flight phases through his area of responsibility. Here in this sector in the lower airspace, he's guiding a particularly large number of climbing and descending aircraft and handling complex situations. He hasn't much time. Now let's visit his sector in the upper airspace. The traffic here is mainly transit flights. Potential conflicts at the same flight level, known as crossings, are diffused, as here, by issuing changes of heading to both Air France 566 and Iberia 3317 in order to ensure the requisite minimum horizontal separations. For every aircraft entering the sector, the controller assistant prepares control strips in advance. These contain the necessary details such as call sign, aircraft type, flight level, departure and destination airports, and coordinated flight route. The air traffic controller uses these data to plan the traffic.
Ja.
Had je maar etwas Tiefes für den Nippon Cargo 084?
March 280.
Danke vielmals. Lufthansa 4334 Zürich, grüezi, identified. Maintain 290, Olben Benot. Lufthansa 3965, contact the Rhine Channel 132.405.
Aircraft glide seamlessly from one controlled airspace to the next. The handovers between the units are smooth. Before a flight enters a sector, all the data are passed on via internationally standardized data networks. This means flights are constantly in the best hands from start to finish. Has this inspired you? Would you like to know more about this fascinating career with a secure future? Visit our homepage or give us a call.